I'm going to do a lesson on deleting the background of a Lego character. So the first thing that you need to do is open up Photoshop, find your photo and drag it onto Photoshop. There she is. Okay, to enlarge that, I'm going to press Command plus on my keyboard and Command minus will shrink it, or you can click the eyeglass over here and select the tools up there and then just click onto it. So I'm going to now go to my quick selection tool on the left hand side of my toolbar, fourth one down. We're then going to choose select and mask. So this is going to select our subject in order to erase the background. So this is the select and mask options. Yours will probably look more like this without the drop down boxes. So to find those things, you would just click into these. Okay, I'm going to go into view marching ants so that I can see my character, and we'll talk more about the others later. I'm then going to go down to quick selection over the left hand side, and I'm going to choose a brush size. I need one about the size of her head. So you can either do the size here, or you can use the open and close bracket tools on your keyboard. I'm then going to click over my subject using this tool. Don't worry if you go outside the lines because you can fix that up in a minute. Okie dokie, I'm going to zoom in by again going to the magnifying glass and clicking on my screen, or use Command plus on the keyboard. I'm then going to get the minus tool. So there's two tools up here, add and subtract. And I'm going to use a smaller brush with my bracket tool, and I'm going to subtract where I have selected that I don't want. Okay, inside the arms. It's better to have less selected than too much because you can always bring it back later, but you don't want to have any of that background visible. Okie dokie. No problems. A bit higher there. If you're finding your photo quite difficult to select, your subject difficult to select, make sure that you have actually clicked on the subject layer, and make sure that or try a different subject if that one doesn't work. Okay, so that's as accurate as I'm going to get it at the moment. I'm then going to go across to my view and I'm going to have a look at what I've selected. So that's what I've selected at the moment, and I've missed this section here and this section here, so I'm going to add those back in. One there and one there. Okay, and if I invert that by going to select inverse, I can see what that looks like on a red background. So it's pretty jaggedy, and that's what we're going to fix up. So don't press OK until you do the next step. So I'm going to go select inverse again, and I'm going to view on white because that's what color I'm going to do the background. So now I can see what it's going to look like. If your opacity is on 50%, it will be see-through. So just drag that back up to 100%. Then we're going to use the second tool down, which is called the Refine Edge Brush tool. And we're going to use a larger brush by using our square bracket tools. And we're going to select around the edges of our subject to refine it, like the word says. So anywhere that I've gone out of the lines, I can now trace around it and touch it up. Don't worry again if you make mistakes because we can fix that in a minute. Now, I find that it's always important to leave some shadows underneath your subject. So if you click underneath their feet, so they look like they're not floating in mid-air. And I think that's pretty nice. Anywhere that you want to fix up, you can go to the minus tool and you can minus it. If I want to minus behind there as well. And again, zoom up closely if you want to have a good look. So click in. I'm going to check this hand out. It's not too bad. There's a few little shadows through here, but that's all right. You won't really see it from a distance. If I want to get rid of them, I can do it manually by clicking onto this brush tool, clicking minus. increasing my brush size and literally just erasing those areas. So you have to be quite precise, because if you go like that, then you'll stuff it up again. So if you do that, don't stress, because you can go back to your refine edge tool, go back to add, and you can add that back in again. There you go. So I'm just going to touch that bit up, and I've gone out the lines again, but that's okay. Make sure you're keeping shadows. I'll fix that up in a second. Thank you. So the longer you spend on this, the more accurate it's going to look. So I'm just doing a really quick version for you. Okay, now if you're not happy with your work, you can also smooth it in the global refinements tools. So I can actually, and do this last, but before you do that, tick the decontaminate colors and just see if it makes the subject look better. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So click off and on again and watch her hand. So that's before, that's after. Before, after. So you can choose to see if it looks better or worse. You can try and have a look what it looks like on black. And as you can see, these areas here are black now. So I want to minus that. And if the minus tool doesn't work, use your freehand brush tool. Or add it, sorry. So if minus doesn't work, go to add. Okay, and I want a little bit more in here to come back. There's a bit of black there. Alright, some on her shirt. Okay, so play around with these tools now. You can actually have a look on white again. If you had a background underneath already, you could see what it looked like on your background. I'm going to smooth it, and I'm not going to do this till last because it slows the computer down. So just be very patient with it while it's doing that. Okay, once you're done, make sure it says new layer with layer mask and click OK. You now have a transparent background, so I can put anything behind that. So if I can go next to the trash can to a new layer, I can drag that underneath. Then I'm going to get my paint bucket tool, choose a colour down here. So say I choose, I'm going to choose a colour that's in my subject. So maybe a light blue or a light grey blue. Click OK and then click on the screen and you have a background behind your subject. So that was before and that's after. If I want to put these shadows back in, I could easily do that in my Refine Edge Smart Mask tool. I can go back into it. I can get this tool here, use a bigger brush, and I can bring back some of those shadows. Matching it. Alright, well that didn't work. I don't know what's happened there. I'm going to cancel that and not worry about it. Okay, so there you have it. That is how you're going to erase your background. Thanks for listening.